Hey, this is Time Bomb, and if it's your first time checking out the channel, hit that subscribe button to catch all the updates. Thanks a lot for joining me here today. This is another episode of my CFM series. I am in a 32 all-user CFM series, and I've been breaking down what's been going on. And this week I've got 3 different weeks of the season to break down here, 3 different games, and I started getting ready for the games a little bit differently because I had some pretty good opponents, and I realized I need to win out to even have a chance at the playoffs. So I'm gonna break down. First of all, before I got into it, I was also struggling with the training challenges. I still, at this point during this week 13, when I'm playing the Bears, had not successfully gotten gold in the offense, and this is no different. Again, I messed it up and did not get the gold. I did get some training for my defensive tackle, Ed Oliver, who has been awesome for me week in and week out. My defensive line has been so good for getting the tackles. So then what I did is I reviewed the Bears, and by looking at the teams, you can really look at the deep stats and see what your opponent has, where they're finding success, and I was able to come up with a scouting report to figure out how I was going to play this opponent. So the game plan for the Bears was fairly simple because I know he really only had 2 threats in this one. Was because of John Ross, who was the major threat. He had the most speed, and basically Cole was his second option. When I took a look at who he was targeting as the receivers, they were much more. So just those 2, I basically had to man up every time on the field and then look out for his tight end with my user, which seemed pretty easy. He had a weak O-line and a weak D-line. His halfback was Chubb. So I felt like with the advantage at the D-line and the O-line, I was going to be able to establish my run game, get the protection that I needed, and attack his QB for every play. So that was my game plan. Make sure Ross does not get open deep. That was the main priority. So let's see how it went in this game. So here we see in the gameplay footage right away at the start of the game, I'm able to get pressure in there with that Oliver. He's going to get a sack. Second down, same thing. We see play action from my opponent. That pressure's going to get in there again from Oliver. He's going to get 2 sacks. First play of the game, he's getting 2 sacks. So that was right to the game plan. I needed to get at the quarterback and take advantage of getting that pressure in there before any routes can develop, because he does have some speed that I need to shut down out of John Ross. Then when I have the ball on the other end, I'm able to drive down the field and just work this nice little corner route, get Davis open, so I'm down into scoring position, and I'm going to get a field goal. He drives back down on me, getting all the way to the 5-yard line here, dropping back to pass on me. We see him rolling out. I'm sending in the spot. He's going to put one up, and I'm able to pick it off in the end zone. So that's crucial. I'm going to stop him from getting any points earlier in the game, steal a possession from him. I'm able to go up 6-0 by kicking another field goal. And then here on this kickoff, he's got John Ross, who's obviously very dangerous on these kick returns as well. I know in another week he got 2 touchdown returns with him, but I'm able to hit stick fumble him. I'm going to get the ball, so I'm going to be able to go up 9-0 just by kicking field goals. So here we are in the 3rd quarter again, getting pressure. He's got to roll out. It gets in there. I get another sack on him. That was Griffin. I think he's got at least 2. Here we go again. Griffin is going to have, I think, his 3rd sack in the game, and I think he was like 3 sacks, 3 tackles. A great player. We see here I threw for 120 yards, had 52 rushing yards. He only got 94 yards. I was able to completely shut down his John Ross like my game plan wanted, and I played great defense all the whole way, shut down the run so he couldn't get anything there. And yeah, I had 3 takeaways as well, so I was able to just dominate that game with turnovers, and yeah, able to come out with a big win from an experienced player in that one. So he was 9-2 up to that, so I was able to hand him a loss. So I'm feeling pretty good in this league. That felt like a big test for me in the league to see if I could compete with everyone against some of these better players. And the NFC is a little different too. It's tough to know if the AFC is better than the NFC. I think there's a lot of good players in both of them, and still, you never know. That game could have gone a lot differently. Let's be honest. I was able to win that one though. So in week 14, I've got the Chiefs, and finally I was able to get the gold in that reward, finally. So now I'm getting some extra boosts every game just because I've got that training now at the gold level with my deep threat, and so that's helping me out getting that little bit more, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. As well, I get some more training for Ed Oliver after this one, so this guy's just getting upgrades left and right after getting 3 sacks and a little bit of training. So he's doing really well for me. He's one of the key factors for me because just getting that pressure with the defensive line has just been key, and that's been a big part of what I want to do to get pressure. So the same thing, because that worked so well for me against the Bears, I wanted to go just another step further and try to get a little bit deeper with the scouting report. So I went a little bit further in preparation for the Chiefs because, again, it's a must-win. It's an AFC opponent. I really need these. So I went a little deeper and did a really deep scouting report. I'm going to break that down. So because the game against the Bears went so well, just really looking at what he had and was using to his advantage, I decided to do the same thing again. And with the Chiefs, I went deeper even and really looked at what he was doing to have success. And I noticed his QB, he had thrown 25 interceptions. So that's almost 2 interceptions per game at this point. So that was definitely something that I had to take a look at. His halfback was Kamara. He was only taking 12 carries per game, but was running for 4 yards. So I had to be careful. If he was running with him, I had to make sure to shut him down. And he had a really balanced attack. He had a T.Y. Hilton and an A.J. Green. Hilton had 93 speed and Green had 90 speed. So those were the receivers that I was going to be looking for and manning up as much as I could. He had Diggs and Matthew. His safeties were pretty solid, a little higher than the high 80s and low 90s, I believe, and they had 6 and 5 picks. So they were accounting for most of his interceptions. So I knew I did have to watch out for his safeties, even though I had the advantage in maybe getting the time. He was putting up 16 points per game, but was giving up 20 points per game. So if I could keep him under 16, I felt pretty confident I was going to be able to win. He had 2,300 passing yards, but like I said, had not been running very much. Only 500 running yards at that point, even though he was so successful on the run. So that was something I wondered if I could take out of his passing, he probably would still be committed to passing, and I'd be able to not have to worry about it too much. His red zone offense was pretty successful, though, at 67%. So that was one area, if I could limit him in the red zone, I would be more confident. And his red zone defense was 75%. So scoring in the red zone could make all the difference for me. And he had he had the absolute best third down conversion in the league, so I had to make sure I was limiting those third down success rates as much as possible to keep his possessions limited in time so I could have the ball more. Always important for me to win the possession game, so let's see how that went against them. Okay, so we're taking a look at the first possession here. He's under center, he's dropping back to pass, and I'm able to lurk that ball right underneath, sending some pressure and able to take it down to the 20, so I'm going to be able to put up 3, and he's going to drive down. See, this was the thing. I noticed that his red zone was about 67%, so that was pretty important for me to shut the door here. And we see he's again going to try it, and I'm somehow able to stop it then. And then again on third down, using this goal line, he had a lot of room, but out of nowhere, I'm able to shut the door. So he's got to just kick a field goal, able to be 3-3 here early in the game. In the second, we see now I have the ball at the end of the half. About a minute 20 left here, and I'm just recognizing B get over top, a lot of space, so I'm going to put this up, and I just basically was able to go up by a touchdown here, just by recognizing him that we are getting coverage outside, which is a play that I use a lot. You can usually catch your opponent the first time you use that play, I find, and people in this league haven't seen me do it, so they aren't really ready for it. Here we see now in the ensuing kickoff, my opponent, I believe this is with T.Y. Hilton, coming over, a nice little juke, then a spin, cutting loose, getting outside. I've got this, whoever that was, Bodden, I think he's my fullback. He's not going to catch him there, but I'm luckily make a desperation play to bring him down. This time he's inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. He's going to try to just tuck it and run with his QB. I'm not able to land a hit stick to knock it loose, and he's going to get into the end zone there, so that's rough. He's tying this game up in the third. It's a pretty tight game here. It's early in the third now, 10-10. I'm going to put the ball up again. I find Davis on another wheel route out of the bunch, and I'm going to get him inside, getting up into field goal range here, so I'm going to put this one up, and oh wow, though I went up by a field goal already, but my opponent gets close again, and he's going to go off the post there, and it doesn't go, so I'm up 13-10. I've got the ball here. I see I'm again recognizing this wheel route, getting over top, but he sacks me just as I'm throwing it. Ball comes loose. I'm gonna recover, but it doesn't matter. That's fourth down, so it's his ball. He's got another chance to tie it up here with 3 minutes left. He's dropping back to pass. He's got a route over the middle, but the pressure gets in there too quick. I'm getting another sack. As pressure's getting in. Again, pressure again. I get 2 sacks in a row. So he basically comes down to 4th down. He's got to convert. We've got a lot of coverage. Doing a good job shutting down a couple routes. Throws one up, and I get just at the last second, I click on, knock the ball away. I'm able to kick another field goal. Oh, that one was close. Just enough from the strong wind to help me get it through. Go up 16-10, 10 seconds left. I'm going to win that game. I did a good job shutting my opponent down, just like the game plan was. I was able to limit his wide receivers, only 109 passing yards, 46 yards on the ground. So that's exactly what I needed to do. He was one of the best 3rd down conversions, I believe, of any opponent, is what I saw. And I'm sure if we're able to see that 3rd down conversions. He was 4 of 8, and he's typically one of the best in the league. I believe league get a bit higher. So keeping him to just 4 of 8 is a big accomplishment for me, because I think he was closer to like 70%, I believe, in the scouting, something like that range. So big win for me coming out of this one. Again, another AFC victory, so I'm feeling like if I can really just take out my next opponent, Titans, I'll be in great shape for this playoffs here. I'm doing everything I can. I can't really ask to do much more than that. All I need to do is just get these wins. So after winning that game against the Chiefs, I'm now 7-6. I've got clawed back after going even against the Bears. I'm now 7-6 after beating the Chiefs, and I'm looking to go 8-6 by taking on the Titans. Now they are looking to take the lead in their division in this one, so I know that they want to win, and they've also got a good team. So I did another advanced scouting report to help me out, and I really needed to limit the things that he was having success with. So I'll break down my scouting report here. So again, because I had so much success scouting for my previous opponents, I did the same thing with the Titans coming up here. Now, the first thing that I noticed is that he had Lamar Jackson at QB, who was 60% QB success rate, and he was running the most of anyone on his team. He had the most running yards out of his QB, so I knew I needed to have a spy on the field every down, constantly be aware that he might take off with the QB, because it was like he had like 60-something carries with his QB and only like 15 with the next closest halfback. So he's not running the ball conventionally. He's only going to take off with his QB and getting a fair amount of yards. I think it was like 50-plus yards, so he's pretty successful with it. He had really good wide receivers. He had a Gordon, a Metcalf, and a Hopkins, who are all 90 receivers, and he was using them evenly, so I had to be careful. I was manning them up in different situations, and he had a Jimmy Graham at tight end, so he had a lot of offensive weapons as well. This is interesting. He had the MVP middle linebacker last year, this Listenby, who is a converted wide receiver, so I had to be aware of his user as well. However, he had weak safeties and weak CBs, so I knew everywhere outside of his user wasn't the best, so I had that to my advantage. So my main goal was to make sure that I limited his QB from running on me, and as long as I had my coverage in place, I felt like I would be able to run my offense on and run the ball, throw the ball around, put some points on the board, and steal a win. So that was my game plan going into this one. In this game, we can see right off the bat, I had the ball, and I did a good job running it. I always want to establish my run as early as I can. I like to have a balanced attack, then I go to my throw. I'm able to fit that ball in there nicely to my main target, Davis. And again, here you see just looking outside, I'm able to move that ball there with another little weird route. Now he's got the ball back, and he's going to send this little screen, and I am able to stop it. But like I said, the main concern, though, was him taking off with his QB. We see he had this little screen, so I tried to have a spy every play, just because I know he loved to just take off with his QB. Like I said, when I looked at his scouting report, Lamar Jackson had the most rushing yards and was rushing the ball so many more times. So I just went classic, used my O-line, who had some great O-line, and seemed to have the advantage against his D-line, so I was able to run the ball really well. I was running this base out of the trips tight end a lot, having a lot of success with it, so I'm able to go up 10-0 here early. A little fullback dive to get that touchdown. Now he's coming back again. See, we see here him taking off with the QB, but I've been doing a great job shutting it down. I have the ball again, up 10-0 at the end of the half, getting into field goal range here, and I'm going to go up 13-0. See here, this is one of his best runs. I must not have had the spy on the field. He's able to take off, get down there, and get into field goal range here. So he is going to be able to really get into field goal range here. He's going to run again. See, Gonna do a good job. I get that fumble, but I'm not able to pick it up. So he's gonna recover. He's gonna get a first down, but it's not gonna be enough. I'm gonna go on to win this 16-3, and I can see that I only had 83 passing yards, but 90 rushing yards. He was minus 27 passing yards, 71 rushing yards. Most of it came from those two plays we saw, him just taking off with his QB, with Lamar Jackson, was just trying to use his speed to his advantage, and that was pretty much the only success we had. I just dominated possession in that game. I think I had like 15 minutes of clock time to his 5. He only had 4 possessions. He was a little bummed. He said that I chewed clock, so that was against rules in the league that I didn't realize, so I do feel bad because I was like maxing out, waiting till 1 second before I snapped the ball, so I felt bad afterwards. He's a cool dude. He understood, but I guess you don't want to do that. I just really didn't realize there was a reason not to do that, and I'm bummed out. You never want to, make someone mad in your league, because it's a good league, it's fun, it's tough, every game really counts, and it's competitive, so I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun, was able to shut down this opponent, and now that I was 9-7, and then the next game here, I actually did win as well. I wasn't able to take video from that, so I am, I'm 9-6 right now, with 1 week left to go, and I don't know about the tiebreakers, how it's going to work out. I don't want to assume, but it's tough. It's really looking close. I think if there's one opponent, if he's able to pull ahead and get 11 wins, then I am not going to be able to touch him. But if he doesn't win another game and it stays, we're both tied at 10-6, I guess there's a chance that the tiebreaker could go to me, but I don't think that that's the case, so we'll see how it works out. I've pretty much done everything I can. I've only lost 1 game. I got 1 game left, so that it's another must-win, and if I can pull that one off, then I might be able to make the playoffs in this league. But if not, it's been a fun season, and I've only come in for, I think it was exactly halfway through of it. So I mean, if I win this next game, I'm 7-1. Worst case, I'm 6-2. You can't really ask for much more. If I had played the whole season, you would hope I would be at 12-4, maybe 11-5. You would hope so. It was 3-5 when I started us, so I'm having a good time with this league, and I'm excited to keep going with it because Madden 20, I'm going to have this CFM to start the year with, which will be super fun. So thank you very much for checking out this video. I'm really enjoying this series. I know they're not getting a lot of views, but they're a lot of fun for me. So if you are watching them, it's very important that you give them a like, give them a comment, let me know what you think about them and how your CFMs are going. I've been Time Bomb. You guys are awesome. I'll catch you guys later.